Hi guys, it's Dawn from Red Dog again. So week one, what are we going to do for week one of training? So for week one of training, what I have down for you is to practice working with your clicker. So in the homework, you will find the little written out description of what a clicker is and how it works. So generally what you want to find is you want to purchase a clicker. So here's one. This one here is called a box clicker. So basically all it is you just put your thumb in the hole and then you give it a little push and it makes a sound. So that sound is what we want the dogs to associate the food with. There's also other types of clickers out there. There's the little button one. So this one here is a little different. It has a button instead. And it makes a much softer sound. Some dogs find these actually really scared. Like I was talking to you about the fear and pleasure center. Sometimes the dogs feel a little bit scared. Some dogs find it a little bit too exciting. So if you find your dog is a little bit intimidated by the sound, muffling the sound by sticking it under your armpit or just covering it with your hand sometimes can muffle the sound a little bit, and then it won't be so sharp. Here's another clicker. It's actually a finger clicker. You put it on your finger, and then you have a free hand. And again, it's a much softer sound. So what you're going to do is you are going to pair the sound of the clicker with a piece of food. So this is called charging your clicker. So every time that you go to train your dog, what you want to do is you want to push the button, and then you want to give the food to the dog. So every time that you make this click noise, your dog knows that there is food coming and that what he's just done is correct and that he's going to try and do it again to get the food. So we're going to click and then we're going to give him the food. So you're going to do this for about 10 pieces of food. Now, your food pieces should be the size of a pea. It shouldn't be the size of a milk bone or, you know, a full-size cookie. You should be able to get out of a baby carrot, you should be able to get about 24 pieces of carrot. So that's how small they have to be. So just make sure that when you're feeding your dog that you are feeding just very small pieces. So click and then give them food. Pretty simple, eh? So once your dog is conditioned to the sound of the clicker, you're going to find that your training is going to go much faster and that your dogs are going to have more success. So you're going to have 2 seconds to reward your dog after the click to feed them the food. So make sure that you have your pocket full of treats and then you have your clicker, and then all you're going to do is just click and then you're just going to give them a piece of food. Good boy. So how do we use this with training? So most puppies already know how to sit and they learn to sit very quickly. The reason is because one, they're little and they have to look up at everything, and when you head goes up, bum goes down. If you ever want to know how to stop a dog from moving forward, lift their head because they won't move forward with their head up. So one of the things that you can do to see if your puppy will sit is you're just going to ask them to sit, and then we're going to go from there. If your puppies don't know how to sit, we're going to teach you how to lure your dog into a sit. So let's start with a lure, okay? So say Squishy here doesn't know how to sit. Now Squishy's 7 months old and he's been sitting for quite some time. So let's see if I can get him to lure. So luring basically is taking the food and moving it to where you want the dog to be. So wherever the food goes, the nose is going to follow. Good boy. So when we're asking our puppies to sit, what we want them to do, squishy up. Good boy. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask nothing. You want to teach the behavior first. So you want to teach them how to sit versus teaching them the word. So if we just stand here and say sit, 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 the dog isn't understanding what we're asking them to do. So we need to teach them the behavior first before we add the cue. Okay, so let's try this with Squish here and see if we can get him to do a sit with a lure. So I'm just going to get him up. Squishy up. Good boy. Okay, so I have my dog. He's standing. I have a treat in my hand and we're going to lure him into a sit. So we're going to treat in front of his nose and then I'm just going to rock him back. Let's see if we can get him Nice, good boy, right? And as soon as his bum would hit the floor, that's when I would click. So we're going to try this again, okay? So he's standing up, so I take my food in front of his nose. I'm just going to rock him back. Sit, good boy. There we go. Okay, good job. Now, I wish I had 3 hands, but I don't. So we're going to give this a try. So I have my clicker on a little line here, so we're going to help. So here we go. So treat my hand. I'm going to lure him into a sit. Bum hits the floor. Give him the treat. Good boy. Okay. Good job. And we'll do this one more time. Ready, boy? Oh, I know. You're so excited. Ready? Here we go. And nose. Good boy. As soon as his bum hits the floor, that's when you're going to click. And that's it. Now down, he already knows this as well. So once your puppy, actually we'll go back to the sit. So once your puppy is sitting and is now starting to sit, you want to take that lure away as quickly as possible. You don't want to have the lure. And so you can pretend you have a cookie in your hand. You can go right to his nose and you're going to say, sit. Good boy. Click. And then you go in your pocket, and then you give him a treat. Good boy. Okay? So no food in my hand. Squishy. Ready? Sit. Good boy. So as soon as he sits, there we go. So fade the lure out as quickly as possible if you're luring your puppy. If you're not luring your puppy, make sure you click when his bum hits the floor. You ready? Let's do a down. Can you down? Nice, good job, good boy. Okay, so Squishy already knows how to lie down, but we're going to do this as if our puppies don't know how to lie down. Squishy. So what you're going to do again, we're going to lure the puppy into a down. I know, I'm trying to get food out of the food. Here we go. So you go from his nose, see he's in a standing position. So you don't have to ask your puppies to sit first, but you're going to go from nose to toes, and as soon as the puppy hits the floor, that's when you're going to click and reward your puppy, okay? So we're going to try this again. So I got my clicker, just to kind of show you. So if they're standing up and they're going into a down, it's their bum that's going to hit the ground last. If they're sitting when you ask them for a down, it's when their elbows hit the floor is when you're going to click, okay? So whatever part of the dog's body hits the floor last is when you're going to click and give them the reward, okay? So we're ready? So Squishy's now sitting. I'm going to go nose to toes. As soon as he hits, there we go. Good boy. Click and give him the food. Good job. Okay. Ready? Luring again. Dog is... the dog is kind of... Okay. Nose to toes. Good boy. As soon as his elbows hit the floor, that's when I was going to click. Okay. So, practice your clicker with sits and downs. And then next week we'll do some look, focus, and watch. Yes, good boy. And then hopefully by the end of the week your puppy is going to be offering you behaviors just like Squishy is here to get the food. So he's going to sit again. Good boy. Good job. You going to do something else? Nice, good job. So we were just working on sits and downs, and now Squishy is offering his sits and downs for the cookie, and that's what we want your dogs to do. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Okay? Say bye, Squishy.